Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Kyla and I'm super excited to have you here today for this really interesting story time video. Quick disclaimer, there is some yard work being done outside my house. If you can hear it, I do apologize. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the time I found out I was allergic to rabbit fur the hard way. Okay, so as you probably know, I was a pageant queen back in 2014, 2015. And with that, you can, for our communities, everyone has a closet that you can go to and borrow things for your reign. We had an event that I had to go to, and I didn't have like a fancy fur coat. So the closet had a couple, and my court and I picked which ones we wanted. I chose, it was a black fur coat, and it was beautiful. And it was the softest one. And if you have ever felt rabbit fur, then you know they're really freaking soft. And I love them. They're so cute. They're the best ears. Just, rabbits are great, but I just can't interact with them. So I get this coat. I go to the event. It's all good. It was a tree lighting ceremony. So, we lit the tree. We drank hot chocolate. Took a bunch of pictures. It was a great time. It was great. And then I think that night I went home and I woke up in the middle of the night and I wouldn't stop itching. And I was like, what the heck? So I remember like itching, my legs is where it started. And if you've ever broken out in hives, then like, they start off really little, and then the more you itch them, the hotter they get, and the redder they look, and the bigger they become. It is the weirdest thing. They appear out of nowhere, and then if you finally get them to go away, then they're like gone, and you're like, what? It's like they were never even there. So, basically, I woke up, I started like freaking out. I was like, what the heck? And so I woke up my mom and I was telling her what was going on. She's like, okay, you're breaking out in hives. I was like, what? From what? Because at this point we didn't know like what it was from. So I remember I slept on the couch, and then my mom woke me up a couple hours later for school, and we were like, no, they're still not gone. And I actually had my official queen portrait that afternoon. So I couldn't exactly go to the photographer with these giant red patches on my body, and by then they had worked their way up like my stomach and to like the top of my chest and everything. And the dress I was wearing, I had it was a sweetheart neckline, so the top of my chest would have been exposed in my portraits. And basically we kept putting, I took a Benadryl, I had cold washcloths. My mom kept putting them on me. My lovely chairperson, I was her queen for about 2 weeks, and she was like bringing me an ice pack, and I remember distinctly because they kept being like, okay, we got to get these hives down for these portraits because you had your photography appointment, you had to, take these portraits, and this is what the whole area of where I live was gonna see. And I was like, I don't want to be like with these giant red things on me. So what we did was we ended up getting the swelling down for a little bit, just enough for me to take a couple pictures, and then we had to reschedule the appointment because the ones we got, they were okay. I don't know if we actually ended up using any of them. I think we might have. But anyway, by the time I got home from the portraits, the swelling had returned. And I remember the itching was getting worse. They were growing. They were obviously becoming larger, and the more time that passed, the redder they became. So basically, by that night, my mom and I went to the clinic, and at this point, we still didn't know like what the heck it was. So we went to the clinic, and when you go to a clinic, you like wait 800 years to be seen. So as we were waiting, they were working their way up to my throat, and that can be really dangerous because if your throat swells up too much, it can cut off your airway and you cannot breathe. So we're sitting in the clinic, and my mom's like, okay, can you breathe? I was like, yeah, I'm good. And then I remember a few minutes later, I was like, no, I cannot, like, I'm starting to not be able to breathe. So my mom was like, okay. So she went over and like told them. So they got me in like right away after that, because if my airway was cut off, we would have had to have gone to the ER. And so we're seen by a doctor, and she examines me and then like looks at or tries to figure out like what the cause of it could be. And I believe it was at that point we realized the only strange thing I'd come into contact with that day or like that weekend in general was this new rabbit fur coat that I loved so much and wouldn't stop touching. So we went home, I took more Benadryl, and I was finally able to like sleep, and the swelling was going down and everything. And then by the next day they were much better, and then I think by Wednesday they were completely gone. So like I said, they just appear out of nowhere, torture you for a little bit, and then if you properly take care of them, then they go away and it's like you never had them. So I was like, out of all the times I could have gotten these, why did it have to be the day of my portraits? But anyway, that was really, really terrifying for me because, you know, me, high anxiety, and then like trying to figure out, okay, what caused this? Like, what did I do differently? It just really cautioned me to be more aware of things that I come into contact with because I used to be allergic to strawberries and I used to be allergic to milk, and they used to make me break out in hives. So I couldn't have strawberries, which now are like one of my favorite fruits, and I couldn't drink milk at all, you know, and you give like little kids milk. So when I was a baby, I couldn't have milk. And I grew out of that allergy. However, I still have the rabbit fur allergy, and I'm not willing to take any risks to see if it is if I've grown out of it, you know. One of my best friends had a rabbit for about 2 years, and I could only say hello to him through the cage, and he was so cute, and I just could not interact with him. And if you know me, you know I love animals, and that's really hard for me because I go over to someone's house, I'm like, okay, do you have any pets? And so it was really hard for me because they're cute and they're adorable, and I just unfortunately cannot interact with those beautiful little creatures. But anyway, moral of the story, be cautious of something new that you're coming into contact with, especially if you've had like severe reactions to stuff in the past. Like, I know people with like peanut allergies are like, okay, so does this have any type of like peanut in it? Or if you're lactose intolerant, does this have any dairy in it, you know? So me, I'm just like, okay, if I see fur coats anywhere, I'm like, okay, don't touch them, even though I really, really want to, don't touch them. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this little walk down memory lane of my interesting experience with lovely rabbit fur. I hope you guys all have a blessed day. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, and turn on that really cool notification bell so you can know the exact second I post a new video. Have a blessed day, everybody, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye, guys.